So.
Hello and welcome to those that join us live today for our 18th episode of Leading the Change. Today we dive into driving innovation and trust in the refurbished electronics market. And to do that, we have no one less than Kilian Kaminski. He is the founder of Refurbed, and Refurbed has in the meantime become a leader in the refurbished electronics market under Kilian's visionary leadership. So it's great to have you today with us, Kilian. Thank you for joining us. And just for those of you who don't know Kilian, his journey is really an incredible example of how passion and purpose can drive meaningful change. He was born in Germany, in Hamburg, but he's a truly global citizen. He studied in Shanghai, he studied in London. He then moved to Munich to work at Amazon, where he played a key role in bringing the Amazon Renewed program from the United States to Europe. And it was during this time that Kilian discovered his true calling, redefining the way we consume by embracing refurbishment. And back in 2017 already, he took a bold step. He founded Refurbished, a marketplace dedicated to high quality refurbished products. And today, 2024, 2025, Refurbed is making a huge impact. It's operating in the meantime already in 11 European markets, employing over 350 people and saving thousands of products from ending up in landfills every year. But Kilian's mission doesn't really stop at the business success. He's a board member of the European Refurbishment Association. He's a passionate advocate for circular economy, and he's really committed in building a more sustainable future for all of us and the planet. So again, it's great to have you here today, Kilian. Thank you for joining us, and I'm already really looking forward into a very insightful discussion ahead of us. Just for on an administration.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to be here.
Great. Just for those that join us for the first time today, we go into discussion with Kilian. If you have any questions, just type them into the LinkedIn comments field. And at the end of the discussion, we hopefully can take up the questions that you have posed, and then we can put it on to Kilian directly. With that, I would say, let's go straight into it. And Catherine, do you want to pose the first question to Kilian?
Yes, absolutely. Kilian, I mean, your journey from leading Amazon's Renewed here in Europe to starting Refurbed is truly inspiring, as also Hans-Peter mentioned. What motivated you to take the leap into entrepreneurship, and how did your experience influence the vision behind Refurbed?
Yeah, I think there were many situations which took me at the end of the day to decide of founding Refurbed close to 8 years ago. I think first of all, probably it was that during my master degree in Shanghai, as Hans-Peter mentioned, I met my now co-founder, Peter. We both studied together in Shanghai. He was at this point already like in the consultants field with some internships. And then I moved to e-commerce, where I worked for Amazon, as you stated, and did the Amazon Renewed program. But we were already friends at this point of time. So we were in regular contact. He was consulting large e-commerce platforms and marketplaces. So he was really closely connected to marketplace business models. And myself, then when I worked for Amazon and specifically for the Renewed program, it was my first touch point for refurbished products. So of course I knew new products, I knew used products, but I was not aware about this third new product category between new and used products, which are refurbished products. And it sounds a bit cheesy, but I really fell in love with these products because I personally believe that they have to be part of our future for different reasons. I mean, specifically, I think because we need to extend the lifetime of the products which are already produced. And as also Hans-Peter mentioned in the introduction, we have to prevent from these products to being on landfills. So this importance of climate action became much more prevalent for me as a person. But at the same time, when I work at Amazon, I also realized that the focus of Amazon for refurbished products is not really strong, which is mainly driven, of course, by the situation that they're well known for selling new products, and they're working directly together with a lot of OEMs and brands. And many of these manufacturers are not really have a priority of circular economy, but still building up the whole business on circular economy, on linear economy. So I really want to challenge this, and I realized that sadly I cannot really do this within Amazon because there's conflicting against the new sales of the platform. And this resulted in the decision of founding Refurb together with my co-founder Peter and Jürgen, our CTO. And I would say, like, overall, we used a lot of the experience that we gained from McKinsey, for example, in Peter's case, from Amazon in my case, which we liked and which we think is good. But on the other hand, we saw a lot of potential of improvement. And so overall, I always try to say it's a bit for like a mosaic that you create, right? You're using the great examples of your previous experiences that you are kind of maybe copying or slightly adjusting. But then on top of that, you're changing the ways that you don't like. And in my opinion, for example, one big thing at Amazon was they don't really treat their partners greatly. And I believe that a marketplace is always two-sided. You have always two customer groups. You have the customers which are buying your products, but you also have the customers which are your partners, your sellers, the suppliers which are selling the products. And for example, bringing this together is still right now a really important aspect of our vision of Refurbed. And the long-term goal that we are having really is to change the way we as a society consume and make consumption more sustainable. So really creating alternatives for consumers to buying or to not being required of buying something new, but they can buy something more sustainable, refurbished.
Mhm.
Great, great. And I love what you said is so, seeing the limitations of, in your case, a large corporation, Amazon, that always have different agendas, but then taking, going out of a comfort zone and I think, okay, you guys were still young at the time and you had ideas, but I think you have to do it. And then I think what I like is that you say, it's about collaboration, taking care about partners and of course consumers. And that brings me what for me comes up when we talk about refurbished products. You said there are new, there are used products and refurbished. So when we talk about refurbished products, what comes up to me is, consumer trust, credibility for refurbished products. As trust is really a crucial topic in the refurbished markets, I would say in general, probably, and in electronics, even though, but I can imagine it's quite challenging. So what has been your guys' refurbished approach to build confidence with consumers? And how would you say you recently have also gained some external certifications? I think Refurbed is B Corp certified, etc. How has that helped strengthening your value proposition?
Yeah, it's absolutely valid point. And to be honest, getting consumers to trust this new product category or condition category between new and used is also for us one of the biggest challenges that we are facing since the start and still also doing. Of course, it improves over time as more and more customers know us, they have tried it, so they have first experience. But it's still a challenge to really convincing the wide general society about this concept of refurbished products. Overall, I think this category of refurbished electronic products is not yet so established as, for example, used cars.
Yeah.
So that means that you have the situation sometimes that used cars is now something totally normal, right? Everyone is buying used cars, and it's often for the people expected as the smarter choice of purchase because it saves money. Um, it is nowadays also connected to warranties, and for sure, it's much more sustainable. So one vision that I always have is that we, with Refurbed, we want to be this used cars aspect, so that really people asking themselves, why I should be buying a new smartphone, a new notebook, a new coffee machine when I can buy a much smarter choice, secured choice with the warranty that we are providing, and a much more sustainable action that I can take by buying something refurbished. So this is, I think, kind of the priority that in which direction we want to move. But of course, to go on this journey, we have to do a lot of work to really make it happen and enabling consumers to trust more in this product category of refurbished products. This starts, for example, that we really establish strict guidelines for all of our suppliers in order to offer the best products to our consumers, to convince them to stick with the consumption category of refurbished products long term, and therefore really make a change in the consumer behavior. And there, I think, is an important aspect to mention. There is not a legal criteria on the European level which defines what refurbishment means or which processes must be done to name a product refurbished. So we defined and developed our own criteria catalog, which every customers can read on Refurb which steps we are taking to ensure that we establishing a product quality catalog, that really the products that our customers are receiving are in the best possible quality, best possible condition, and they're receiving a great service. And this resulted that we now have more than 18,000 different products on our marketplace. You already shared, we expanded to 11 European countries. So really, we are really across Europe, from south of Europe, like Italy, to east of Europe, like Czech Republic, to the north of Scandinavia, like Finland and Sweden, and even really the western part of Europe, like Portugal or Ireland. We are active in all of these countries and not only serving end customers, but also business customers. So it's also now possible for companies or even governmental agencies to purchase now their company equipment, for example, refurbished, and don't be required anymore to buying something new. And then you touched as well, like really shortly, the B Corp certification. Of course, for us, it's great to be certified. And I think the B Corp is a great example, which is a high-level certification. It takes quite a long process of being certified. I think it took us 2 years because it's really intensive of data that they're requiring for you to be approved for this certification. But it enables us, of course, to have even an additional trust symbol, I would say, for consumers that is stated there. But overall, I would say that the growth that we are seeing is mainly driven by great experience of customers, which then referring us as well to their friends and family. So right now, more than 50% of our customers are coming from referrals of friends and family. And I'm not sure how you are normally doing it, but probably you would only refer to your friends and family if you had a good experience and you like the idea behind it and you want to promote it personally. So I think we were able to really establish a great brand experience, a great customer journey, so that in the end of the day, customers which try it out, they have a great experience. And what I always like, as you said as an example, is when you hear about that there's a product that you can buy which is up to 40% cheaper than a new product. It has a warranty exactly like a new product, and you're doing something positive for the environment. People are asking themselves, where's the catch? There has to be something wrong with it, because that's only positive. If that is true, then everyone would buy it. And it's so interesting to see that if the customers then buying these products, they always have in mind something has to go wrong because it's too good to be true. And because they have done the great experience and know it really works, and they had a good example out of it, they're even more motivated to advocate it and tell it to other friends and family, that they also should make this great experience themselves. And I think this really drives the development of refurbishment, of this positive word of mouth propaganda, which is enhancing the whole industry itself.
You just mentioned the fantastic success of getting the referral from friends and family. 50% is really excellent, fantastic, congratulations. And you also said you were speaking about this guidelines. I mean, how do you expecting the material to be delivered to you so that you can also then continue to do that? Or to sell it. When we prep the conversation, you were talking also that now you want to also go into the B2B, more in the B2B. And refurbishment is definitely a huge, a considerable part milestone when it comes to circularity. Can you share with us either some key metrics or success story of how Refurbed has reduced e-waste and extended the life cycle of electronics?
Yeah, happy to do so. I mean, first of all, I would like to start that I think it's really, really important that you have certified and verified data, because every company or every business now starts to report on sustainability, and I see it quite risky, that right now probably every company on the planet is green. Even like big oil corporates are now green companies, which I see really problematic, because for consumers or for us as a general human being, it's really difficult to differentiate now between what is really sustainable and trustworthy sustainable versus what is just named sustainable. And I mean, there's a directive on the European Commission level, which is the greenwashing directive, which tries to tackle exactly this topic. But therefore, for us, it was from the beginning on really important that we do not want to communicate our data just from ourselves and analyzing them ourselves. But we worked since a couple of years together with the Fraunhofer Austria Research Institute, like probably one of the most well-known research institutions on the planet, to really understand the true impact of refurbishment to the environment. And it's so interesting to see that we analyzed the whole process of the refurbishment, from getting the products, all the shipping back and forth, replacing the components. And we started this measurement, the first place, I think, 2.5 years ago, for 5 products. Because I mean, it's quite complex of doing this. And so really finding the first way of doing it for, I think we did it for a notebook, a smartphone, a tablet, and a smartwatch. And then we found a calculation out of it, how you can calculate the impact on CO2 emissions, e-waste, and water consumption. So the points that also you mentioned, Catherine. And we were able to kind of now extend the calculation that we now can really have the exact impact data for almost 10,000 products on our website. It's not only anymore 5, but now more than 10,000 products. We have the exact calculation. And this really makes us able to also communicate the impact. And for everyone who really wants to understand how we're calculating this and how is it done, we have a sustainability report and a sustainability page and a sustainability report on our website that everyone can download, which is really enhanced. So you should take some time, maybe a couple of hours on the weekend, if you really want to go through it in detail. But for us, it's really, really important to showcase what the true numbers behind this, and that it's really transparent for the readers or for our customers or general people which are interested in it to learn about it. And what we already achieved, because I think it's also quite interesting to see, because I'm happy to share some numbers here as you asked for key stats on that. On e-waste, for example, we reduced e-waste by already 1,000 tons since we founded the company, which is approximately the weight of 650 cars. When you're looking at CO2 on CO2 emissions, we reduced CO2 emissions by over 300,000 tons, which equalizes approximately 60,000 diesel cars in 1 year. So quite a lot of cars that we got out of the street for this. And last but not least, we also reduced massively water consumption, over more than 100 billion liters of water. Because, for example, if you want to produce products, you have to get the resources out of the earth, and you need a lot of water for doing this. And this 100 billion liters of water equalize approximately of 2 million households per year. So if you just think about what this means, this would mean that, let's say, the city of Vienna, where we have our headquarters in, would be no water consumption for a whole year, just because people would buy refurbished products on Refurbed since we founded the company. And I think these are great examples of which impact you can create, and in theory, we just create by doing our business. On top of that, we even supporting different NGO projects in the fields of CO2 emission reduction, electronic waste reduction. For example, that we are supporting an NGO which collects electronic waste in Africa, in Ghana specifically, to have it properly recycled. So we are also adding on top of these numbers that I just shared, where we're supporting financially different NGO projects in our fields, because we really believe that as a player in this industry, if you want to drive change, it's not just about yourself. You also have to add additional impact criteria to your portfolio, to your mentality, to really ensuring that something will change. And this is in our case, our action, for example, of supporting different projects, but also being really vocal on the public affairs side, as well as trying to support companies as well to start their sustainable journey, and specifically explaining them that you can connect profit or economic sustainability with environmental sustainability. So bringing together profit and impact is, in my opinion, one of the most important criteria for the future, and that this is a success criteria for companies anymore, and not just the profit as an own definition.
Yeah, I like what you said. So, because that's always the discussion, can sustainability also be economically viable? And I think what you are saying, yes, we make positive impact and we create value, not only for us as a business, but for the environment as a general. And I think that's and the figures you just mentioned are really impressive. I think you just have to stand still and say, hey, just this, refurbishing a product and not throwing it on a landfill, what impact you can make. So I think it's really great. And I think you said before, every company seems to be green now. So that comes to, so how do you, and it's all about, consumers, how do they navigate in the jungle of quotes that are out there, and you just mentioned your website you can download, but I think not every consumer is that proactive and is going for sure there. So how do you as Refurbed, when we talk about educating consumers and driving real change with consumers, what would you say, what are the big challenges that you have faced, and do you still facing probably, when you try to educate, between brackets, consumers about the real value of a refurbished product? Because in the end, it's what you said before, the value of a refurbished product, that is what counts. And do you have any inspiration that you can share on how do you drive behavioral change and shifting mindsets from consumers, really, that they should consume more circular and less linear?
Yes, I think in general, I mean, some parts I think is what you asked as well in the second question, regarding building up the trust, which is of course an important aspect of creating consumer behavior change. So for us, it's a lot about like also reaching the right customers. So sadly, it's not the case yet that all of our customers are proactively searching for refurbished products or typing in at Google refurbished smartphone or refurbished notebook. So of course, we're also trying to get customers on the journey when they maybe considered of buying a new product or even buying a used product, right? And then for the new product, explaining them how much better it is to buy something more sustainable and cheaper, buying it refurbished. And for the used customers, maybe outlining to them that if they want to have a warranty and be secured that whatever happens to the product in the time period that they are safe on their side, that they kind of maybe upgrading it to a refurbished product instead of buying it on classic peer-to-peer use platforms. So this, I think, is an important aspect to really explain to the customer what they get. But then for me, the most important aspect about educating consumers is our job of really offering the best products possible. Because you will only buying again in this product category, or as I mentioned before, referring this product category or a brand like us to your friends and family, if you had a great experience. And this means that we want to provide the customers the best products, but also offering great customer service, highest quality, a great experience in general, telling them what we are doing as a brand as well, not just selling these products and kind of trying to make money, but also having a positive impact, as I stated, for example, with the research work we're doing together with Fraunhofer. And then last but not least, probably another really important point is, I think many people think that refurbishment or no refurbishment from smartphones. This is kind of the end of the horizon, what refurbishment means. And for us, it was really important to really understand that refurbishment is so much more than just smartphones. You can refurbish in the consumer electronic industry, tablets, smartwatches, audio devices, PCs, screens, whatever it is. But you can also go beyond CE. So for example, we launched sports equipment. So you can now buy on Refurbed your refurbished e-bike, your refurbished snowboard, or even your refurbished gym equipment. We launched SDA, so small domestic appliance. So you can buy now on Refurbed a Dyson vacuum cleaner. You can buy an IEG washing machine. You can buy a Kärcher garden equipment. So we really believe in the opportunity for consumers to ensure that they can buy everything what they want refurbished. Of course, we're not there yet, so we still have a way to go in the regard of launching additional categories and continuously enhancing our product selection. But we are already much, much further than just the classic consumer electronic products, because we had a lot of feedback from customers which came to us and told us, hey, we really liked what the smartphone that we purchased, but my son now in his new student flat needs a new coffee machine. Why we don't have this refurbished, right? And so we also really proactively try to work together with refurbishers or even brands. We're directly working together with some big OEMs and brands on these products as well, to really ensuring that we can offer this product selection as well to our customers and enabling them for more sustainable opportunities of consumption.
Which shows that what you're saying basically is also saying that, and that is something which is really important, that a brand doesn't always refurbished products. They do not sell only the product to one single client or customer. Once it goes back into the loop, into the cycle, there are end clients who can then reuse that. And we see that, I mean, more and more the from a pricing model, but also from a business model that companies start to grasp around that concept. Now, you're part of, you're a board member of the European Refurbishment Association. How do you see collaboration across the industry so that they can also contribute to have the refurbished electronics market grow? And by the way, dear audience, we are very keen to stop at 1 p.m. simply because we have a hard stop. So if you have some additional questions, please ask them also in the chat, and Kilian can then reply to them in case of.
Yeah, so I think like in general on the European Refurbishment Association, we really try to be the voice of the industry. As you can imagine, like the public affairs and lobbying departments of the big manufacturers are often a bit larger than what smaller industry players like us or of course others in the industry can provide. But we really believe that the industry must have a voice, and therefore we are really advocating for what we're doing in the industry and that we ensure this. So I think in general, like the whole part of the refurbished industry, the majority of the topics were really aligned, right? We really want to ensure that more products are in the market which are refurbished, that the time period of the usage of product is enhancing. But we're still probably requiring some work from the regulatory side, because as long as the business models of manufacturers is based on linear economy, and that is how they make the money, that you are replacing your devices as often as you can, it's difficult, of course, to create a circular economy. And you know, there are several examples of what is happening. Like it's difficult to get spare parts of some manufacturers and brands for attractive pricing, which makes repair really expensive or difficult. There are even like software pairing, that individual components are only connecting via software ping, so that if you're not approved by the manufacturer, you cannot replace a component. So there are, of course, difficulties which the manufacturers proactively make to ensure that linear economy stays the way it is and not moves to circular economy. But I think in Europe, we are at least on a positive note, quite advanced in the regard of the understanding on the European side that circular economy must be enhanced also through some regulatory work. The right to repair is one example. The eco design is another example, which tries to exactly move in the direction of ensuring that circular economy will be easier in the long term. But for example, one big problem that we see in the market, and I think it's also, I just looked into the chat, what Rika asked is about the sourcing. In Europe, we have one big problem because the majority of people in the society, we keep our device in our cupboards. That means we buy a product, we even then buy a new product, but the old product we're not returning into the circle or back into the industry, but we keep in our cupboards because we maybe need it at a later stage. And there was a study in Germany that more than 200 million smartphones are in the cupboards just of Germans. I mean, it's a huge amount, right? And this, of course, we really have to ensure that trade-in is easier, that we are really have the life is easier for all of us to bring back our old products into the circle so that they can be refurbished, that they can have an additional life, and that the lifetime can be extended. So that's also one action, for example, we took, that we launched our trade-in program, where now customers can use our refurbed website to trade in their old smartphones, for example, and getting money for it, and ensuring that these products have a second life and being refurbished. But overall, it will not be just us. It's also about the telco providers and everyone else involved, really ensuring that we're really bringing the products back, and therefore using the valuable resources that we have now in our cupboards to ensure that they have a new life and they're getting extended for a long term.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. So I think it's refurbed in itself can only contribute so much, and I think it demands from every angle, regulatory, but also consumers. And I think the figure you just mentioned is impressive. So that means on average, every German inhabitant has 3 mobile devices, smartphones at home, which is crazy. Yeah, I think that's the average figure. But I think looking at the time, I think we could continue 2, 3, 4 more hours with you, Kilian. So it was really very impressive. So very insightful. But I think taking care of your time, I think you have a hard cut as well. So we are really very grateful that you joined us today. It was a great discussion. So just for those, I think I just saw that Anna, you also had a question, but unfortunately we cannot answer it anymore. But maybe Kilian, if one of your guys have time afterwards, maybe you can answer them in the chats on LinkedIn. But again, thank you very much. Thank you for being with us. Thank you all for listening in, and hopefully see you soon again.
And thank you for the great work. Continue.
Yes,
Thank you for being here. It was great to talk to you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.